Sairam everyone, and good afternoon to the post-lunch session of day one of the National Youth Meet. As we all listen to the speakers today, the theme is Harmony of Religions, and I hope you're all looking forward to this discussion, panel discussion, and interactive session as much as I am. I hope the lunch has not been too heavy and inducing you into a somnolent mood. So without much ado, we'd like to start off with our panelists and religious leaders giving their exposition on their faiths. So here's just a small outline on what we would like to hear from you all. We'd like you all to touch upon how your faith speaks of the 5 cardinal values of truth, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence. You might be free to quote verses from your holy texts on interfaith harmony, tolerance, mutual respect, and the principle of one God, many paths. We've heard many of our speakers in the morning touch upon the same aspects. And you may also refer to stories and analogies from the scriptures on how the founders of your faith, prophets, avatars, and messiahs, who lived and demonstrated the message of fatherhood of God and brotherhood of man. The idea of your 10-minute talk is primarily to establish to our audience here, the youngsters here, that all the religions in fact talk of the same oneness principle of God. So to begin with, may I please request Professor Harjinder Singh Bhatia to please share his thoughts on Sikhism. He's a Sikh scholar, like we all knew in the morning, and he was formerly associated with the DRDO. You may use the mic.
This one? Good afternoon. Actually, if you really see, there are 2 keynote address in the morning has brought out beyond any ambiguity that in the sense, in the core, all the religions are basically meant for the uplift of mankind. And devotees to that faith are basically required to work for that. But now the question comes from the Sikh perspective. We all know that Sikhism, or the Sikh way of life, has started almost 550 years back. And what was the situation in our country? That is still between the 2 communities that time, Hindus and Muslims, which were forming this one, was having a lot of problems and other things. The basic problem was we have not understood the basic essence of our faith. And in practice, the religions are different than what they talk in essence. So if one has to say that God is one and we are the children of same God, there is a need for establishing through this socio-religious reform the fatherhood of God, the motherhood of the nature, and the brotherhood of the mankind. If these 3 things can be established well in practice, automatically the differences which has been created by the mankind, although the diversity is a nature's gift, has to be seen that. It's a natural gift that even we see the tree, 2 leaves, and on the same branch of the tree, there are not 2 leaves which are like each other. So diversity is God's gift. So Guru Nanak, when he said that, to bring this, the God is a creator. If we just see the Mool Mantra given by Guru Nanak, the one of the very powerful word which he has used, he has called God as creator person, not just a creator. We make something, we don't become part of it. But God is such a creator, whatever he has created, he abides in it. So as a spirit, if the God is one and only one, and he abides in his creation as this one, then where is for us to distinguish between a mankind and human being on the basis of any this one? If we want to differentiate between the man to man and anything of that nature, any difference, is the most irreligious thing to do it. That's what Guru says. And if he is the truth, and truth abides in all of us, then where is the question of distinction? So beyond so-called ambiguity, he established that oneness of the God by putting a numeral 1 in the beginning for the symbol which normally used to signify the God, the Om. That is called Ekyomkar. He is not only abides, he is a uniformity without any distinction in this one. So this established, if we recognize the Spirit of God being just abiding in all of us uniformly, then we have no right to distinguish. So that is one aspect which has to be taken very seriously from the morning sessions also, and I don't have to go beyond that. Even the prayers what Guru themselves have asked to God. He says, Jetu Tutta Kirpa Nidhan Duja Na Vekhal. Oh God, if you are happy with me and if you want to bless me, let me not have the concept of others. Sab ghat Ram bole, Rama bole, Ram bina ko bole re. In every, this one, it is only the same Ram, the God, is there in the spirit. Who else can speak from that? Whether it is a vegetation, whether it is animals, whether it is a human being, whatever creation we talk, he is the one who is speaking this one. Morning, Shri M also mentioned about quote from Guru Granth Sahib, Avval Allah Noor Paya, Kudrat ke sab bande, Ek Noor te sab jag upriya, kaun bhale ko mande. Who am I to distinguish that one is good or bad? If the same spirit of the same God abides everywhere. Suraj ek ko rut anek nanak karte ke kete ves. Just like sun is one, rays are many, the seasons comes because of that. And he is the one like a sun, and Rut anek means seasons are different, the way he has created this one. Sab mein jyot jyot hai soye, tisde chanan sab mein chanan hoye. There are numerous quotes on 1430 pages of Guru Granth Sahib, this harmony of the oneness of the God and the harmony of the human being is brought beyond any this one. The second aspect which I thought is very, this one, the respect for all the religions, that is the base. If somebody has to only advise and say that, but Sikh Guru says that, Manas ki jaat sabhe ek ko pehchan bo. It is a commandment from the Guru that we have to treat everyone as our own brother and sister. It's a casteless society. And further thing, God is all attributive ones. If we have to merge with Him, we have to acquire those qualities. Karam kart hui nekami. That's a concept which I apply. If I merge all the images, what image I meant? It is Nirankar. If I combine all the gunas of God, what gun comes? It's a Nirgun. Nirgun does not mean that it is not having any guna. Nirankar does not mean that it does not have his akar. He abides in all akar, but still he is not bounded by that. He is having all the virtues, but you cannot bind with that. We are all binded by Rajo, Tamo and Sato. Tragunte Prabhin. Guru says, he is beyond this one. And that's what this one. I don't want to go deep in the philosophy, but only I want to supplement from the Sikh point of view. The very emergence of the Sikh faith is to bring the oneness of the mankind and recognize, human beings should recognize the oneness of the God and spirit behind is this one. Sikhism firmly believes that if I cannot see God everywhere, I cannot see Him anywhere. So that is the concept on which it is working. Second aspect which brings the difference, this is all theory, let us say. We have been talking in the morning also. Theory and practice has to go in hand. The biggest contribution of the Sikh Guru is to bring these two things together. What you say, that is to be done. In fact, there is no need to say, you should reveal from your actions. Karni and Katni both have to be together. So there has to be certain practical measures which normally this one. So Sikhism, he has put it in the three so-called words which we can summarize the Sikh way of life. The Naam Japo meditate on God's name. Why? The concept is jaisa seve taisa hoy. As I serve him, as I praise him, he is not going to become big. Or if we don't praise him or don't do anything or defame him also, he is not going to become small. By just meditating on his name, which is all attributive one, and when we are attributing on the God's name, those attributes will come in us and we will start becoming God-like. And this is how we can get rid of all the evils around and we rise above that. So that is the Nam Japo. Nam Japo is not meditating on just taking some name, say Ram Ram, and we don't know when it becomes Mara Mara and other things. So it has to be meditated on God's name. We are trying to contemplate on God's qualities and the virtues, what He wants us to do it. His will and commandment, we have to be in that. When we meditate that, we become like Him. The way He has created and trying to maintain and sustain His creation, as His image, we take care of the society. So the second aspect which comes from the Sikh way of life on the practical side is we have to work for welfare of mankind. That is a very important aspect. The two pillars, Seva and Simran. Meditate on God's name so that you become like Him, which do not distinguish in His creation. So that concept will become a core so-called way of working for you. And second thing, you work for this one. Guru Nanak was asked also that which is the great religions. Sarv dharam mein sesht dharam, har ko naam jap nirmal karam. That religion, that the faith is only one which is good or the best, which has got these two aspects. The touchstone is that har ko naam jap, so that you become purified and pious with that. And the second aspect is the nirmal karam. Your actions and deeds should bring the fruits of uplift or care, compassion and love for His creation. Through the kirat, through His creation, we have a door to Him. So that is another concept which is happening. Now the third aspect which is very important from the Sikh way of life is, which I am going to mention now. The God has been defined as Nirbhav and Nirvair. Nirbhav means beyond fear. He has fear of none. And also He is Nirvair. He is beyond any so-called any favor. He does not distinguish between A and B. He showers His blessings, everything uniformly, equally. There is no distinction for Him. If that is the case, and these are the qualities which I said that godly qualities have to be imbibed in us. Now let us consider for a moment that every one individual human being has these two godly qualities in us, in action, that we are Nirbhav. If we are Nirbhav only, we have none the fear of this one, then only we can raise voice against anything which is wrong. Whether it is exploitation, whether anything which happens, we find that it is not on the religious path, it is inhuman to do it, then only probably we can raise voice. And after raising the voice, if it is not sufficient, we may have to fight for the rightness of the truth. And in that fighting, there should not be even fear that we can lose over that. So the first condition Guru Nanak kept that, if you want to come to this path of love, he calls it the path of love, keep your head on your palm, and the day this head is demanded or your life is demanded, you should not deter from that. And if you want to run away that day, don't come today. That is the condition, that you have to commit yourself to social cause. So this Shakti and Bhakti have to go together. You should be a saintly person to the core. And if need arises, you should be a perfect soldier. So this is how the Shakti and Bhakti have to go together. For discharging the worldly duties, responsibilities, if there is a need, you have to work with your own hand. And that is the second aspect, the kirt karo, on your own livelihood, with your honest endeavor and hard work. And you can see even the Sikh gurus and even the Sikh traditions and the culture, everyone, whosoever you take, they earn their own bread. There won't be any exploitation. There is a dignity of work. We don't bother what is the type of work, but when it comes to the earning for our bread, we put our hand in that. And that's why you don't see even the beggars in the Sikhism. So this is Kirt Karo, and out of that, there is certain thing which you have to share with others, with the needy people. There is no concept of charity in Sikh way of life. That is, I'm talking from the practical aspects, how this theory has been put into practice to bring the oneness of the mankind. Now, all these things, when we talk about this, theory and the practice and the working in that. And the second aspect, which is very important for today when we are having this workshop, that to bring these moral values for the education. Now, for the education purpose, if we see that, Guru says very clearly, Vidya Vichari Tam Paropukari. The concept of Vidya, the knowledge gathering or intellect gathering or empowering ourselves for such a thing which can bring the betterment of the society and the work for that. And when we contemplate this so-called worldly knowledge and other things, until it is filtered out, it is all unnecessary things which are not going to do any good to the society should be removed. And that can only happen if the foundation is on the moral values. And that's why Sikh Gurus have put lot of moral value concept. The relation of Sikh and the Guru is only that. What Guru says, without question, we say that. And this Bani, the utterance of Gurus, have given that aspect. And this knowledge can pour in from anything. It is what is being said is more important rather than who is saying. What is being done is more important than who is asking you to do it. So there is a need to test it on the testosterone and do it. And Gurus not only worked for this, they asked Sikh to work for that on the same principles, and they have been tested. This has to go, this gives the integrated personality of this one. That as a person, you are supposed to acquire knowledge, impart that knowledge to the society for their betterment, earn your own livelihood. If there is a need to fight against anything wrong, you should be like a soldier. And if there is a call to service to the mankind, you should be in the forefront. So all four varnas, which have been a cause of distinguishing humanity to the subhuman level, has been removed and built in one, that you should be in the forefront. Until as you do that, we have no right to call ourselves Sikh. As a balance, I will leave it for the question answer sets and how we can relate these values to this one and how do we work. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk.
Thank you so much, Professor Bhatia. In fact, I see a lot of similarity and resemblance to even what Hinduism says and the Hindu scripture says. You had brought out some of the points. You talked about Nam Japo and Nirmal Karam. In fact, even Baba says, that the two things that we always have to engage ourselves is in Namasmarana and selfless service. This is the pathway to God. You'd also talked about how the only purpose of education, or gaining education, is for us to be able to be of use to others. Even the Hindu scriptures talk about the same. In fact, there is a saying called Paropakarartham idam shariram, saying that the purpose of the human body is only to be of use, of service to the others. So thank you so much for highlighting many of the verses from the Guru Granth Sahib and talking to us about the Sikhism perspective of harmony. May I now request Venerable Geshe Lakdor to share his perspective of harmony of religions from the Buddhist perspective. We've always been hearing of the wheel of dharma that the Buddhist symbol always represents, and it reminds us of the cause and consequence of deed and destiny, and how the wheel of dharma conducts all of us and rights all of us. So can you share your perspective, please?
My respectful homage to Sai Babaji and appreciation to all the good things that you have been doing here in terms of organizing, colleges or hospitals and so on. So this is religion in action. I really appreciate that. And then second thing, this morning I was thinking that we should have more lady participants. And I was actually worried that there's none. So I saw one and I was very happy. So in order to have harmony, we should also encourage more women to come on the platform. So that's something that I wanted to mention at the outset. And then the second thing is, I don't want to stay more than the time allotted, so please mercilessly stop me if I'm going beyond the time. Okay, I will not be able to do justice within the given time, but I will touch on some important points like what was the motivating force. Do you think the child, by crying, asking for a lengthy discourse on Buddhism or any religion? I don't think so. The child is simply asking for somebody's love, and that love also not the calculated business love that we share these days. The child is asking for unconditional love, because the child at that stage has nothing to give back. So that is how we survived. So we cannot forget this. So for me, it will be really, really, not only interesting but important that before we talk about the importance of religion, we should talk about how to become a good human being. Without that foundation, you cannot become a good religious practitioner. Of course, religious practice is very important, but we should talk more about those fundamental good human values which brings together all the human beings, all humanity, believer, non-believer, even those who are anti-religion. Those people who believe in religion, maybe maximum 2 billion, I don't know, something like that. The rest of the 5 billions or so, non-believers, some of them are even anti-religion. They also need value. They also need some kind of ethics. So therefore, the religions also have a big role to play to talk more about those values which goes not only to the religious practitioners but to all sections of society, humanity. And then, of course, there is a limited time. I will talk a little bit about harmony. Now, this topic, religious harmony, is so important because there is nothing in this world can exist without harmony. If you look at a tree, if it doesn't get those sources for harmony, it will dry. If there's too much water, it will get decayed. Too much sunshine, it will get dried. There must be harmony of all the elements existing there. Similarly, in the case of a human being, there must be harmony between your body and your mind. If there's no harmony, you say one thing, do another thing, that will be source of problem and difficulty for many others. Now, it is scientifically found that the system of nature is such that as and when there is disunity, disharmony, whatever it is, even if it is a stone, it will discontinue, it will crumble. So it's very, very important to understand the fact that harmony is really the essence of our very livelihood. And so therefore I'm very happy that you have organized this interreligious gathering. But what is even more important is I had the opportunity to attend so many international conferences and national conferences. So it's wonderful. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama says that we may not achieve much just by this gathering, but it sends a very powerful signal to the followers of every religion. Because they say, oh, our Gurujis are now working together, they are friends, so we should also be friends, you see. So even we don't speak, we send a big signal. So that is call of the time. So therefore, you're already giving me some signal?
You have a couple of minutes.
Okay, okay. So that is the signal. So therefore, I'm really happy, and especially in today's world, unfortunately, whatever be the reason, there are so many problems, that's abound in this world. So therefore, we need to voice our concern. That's number one, on various religious platforms or other platforms. That's number one concern. And then the second thing, as you have rightly done, giving proper education to the younger generation. Material development, of course, is necessary, but that is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the spiritual values. Because, I'm not saying this because I'm a religious practitioner, I'm saying this because of the fact that if you look at the body, or look at yourself as a human being, when you call yourself as a human being, you have two things, a body and mind. The body is very much dependent on material things. The mind is more dependent on spiritual foods than material foods. Now, out of these two, you can see which one is more important, which one is the boss. Is the mind the boss or the body the boss? Of course, we'll say, my mind is my boss. So if your mind is your boss, then how come you neglect the need of your mind without giving any spiritual food. For your body, you give breakfast, you give dinner, you give lunch. For your mind, what do you give? Nothing. So the many problems that we are seeing today in the world is a sign of starvation of the mind. So therefore, the spirituality, not necessarily religion, but spirituality, good fundamental human values, teaching those values to the younger generation is especially extremely important. And especially in the context of India, as many of the former speakers have said, this is probably the only country where all the major religions of the world come together, flourish, find a home here. So we need to now show this through practice, through action. So India has a lot of contribution to make. And I always tell my Indian friends that the greatness of India can be proved through your soft power, not hard power. So I'm glad that I'm able to participate in this, and I thank all the organizers and also to especially to the Karnataka government, because this state, Karnataka state, is a state where we have the majority of the Tibetan population. And when the central government sent a letter to the chief ministers of many states when Tibetans came into exile, then the Karnataka chief minister, Nijalingappa, I met him personally, I think 2-3 times. He was the person who really welcomed maximum number of Tibetan population. And so therefore I take this opportunity to thank our Indian government, Indian friends, and especially to the Karnataka state and the Karnataka people. Thank you very much.
So when you mentioned this point about sending a message across to people when you're sitting together, it really does ring a chord with all of us, because in the media, what is reported is only instances of conflict, not really too much of instances of harmony. And when we see such a gathering, it does, develop some kind of positivity in us that yes, this is possible. And we thank you all so much for this.
Yes, in fact, I'd like to add, Siddhant, that, these could be, when Neil Armstrong first went onto the moon, he said, it might be a small step for man, but a great leap for mankind. So what we're doing today might be just taking little baby steps towards establishing harmony and better understanding of religions, but I'm sure it will go a long way in establishing what you all have come here to be and what you all have taught us. In fact, it's very famously said that, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk long and far, walk together. So I think it's towards this objective that we've all conducted this conference, and we really thank you, and we're really grateful to you all to have made time for us despite all your schedules.
You also mentioned about the foundation being unconditional love, and Shri M mentioned an incident this morning where a Tibetan monk was captured in China and was tortured for 25 years, and the only fear that he had was he should not start hating the Chinese. Such was his dedication to practicing unconditional love, that no matter what harm comes to him, he still wants to love others. And there is another such sterling example who was born over 2,000 years ago, Lord Jesus Christ. When he was on the cross, he said a similar thing, God, please forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father Charles Ogada, you're the founder and president of the Spiritan Self-Awareness Initiative. You're based in Nigeria. We would like to hear your thoughts on this subject.
My very humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and at the lotus feet of all of you divine beings that are gathered here in harmony, in love. The essence of Christianity, the essence for which Jesus came, lived, and died, is love. Is compassion, is passionate love, active love. He was born and he lived in love. He went about doing good. He never owned anything. He never had a house or a place to call his own. His disciples were wandering disciples. They went from home to home. They never know what to expect the next moment. And one day, a young rich man came to him and asked him, what is the essence of the religion? What is the essence of religion? What is the greatest commandment? And Jesus said to him, he quoted the Old Testament, and he said to him, thou shalt love, listen, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. We see this oneness ringing in almost all the religions. It is the primary kalima of Islam. Allah alone is. In Hinduism, God is one. So this is the fundamental essence of Christianity and actually of all religions, the unity of God. Only God is. There is nothing outside God. If we are to say that God is omnipresent, we must realize the implications of that God is in you, above you, below you, within you, that God pervades every atom in your body, every thought in your mind, every soul in your spirit. Then what is you that is not God? Everything is consciousness. And Jesus said to this young man, listen, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. And thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart. That is Bhakti Yoga. All, not part of your heart. All your heart. With all your mind. It means constant integrated awareness of God 24 hours of the day. And we know Muhammad constantly chanted the name of Allah even when he was sleeping. And with all your strength. What is strength? Kama yoga. That everything you do is done in the love of God. And he's now said to the young man, and the second is like the first. Actually, the second is the first. And the second is, thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself. And the man was a bit clever. The man asked him, who is my neighbor? And this is where the unity of religion came. And Jesus gave a beautiful example that transcends culture, transcends religion, transcends all the barriers that divide man. The Samaritan and the Jews, if you know the contextual history, the Samaritans and the Jews, they don't go together. They have in perpetual, like, enmity. Am I right? Then, not now. So Jesus now gave an example of a Samaritan that saw someone that was attacked by robbers. Before he saw this man, a priest came, and the priest saw him and walked away because the priest has his own business. He cannot be defiled by touching an unclean person. Other people came and saw him and went away. But this Samaritan came and not only saw him, he bent down and took him on his horse or camel and canceled his business and took him to a hospital and then stayed with him and cared for him and told the nurse that, look after this man. When I'm coming back, I'm going to branch off and see how he's faring. And then Jesus said to the man, among these three people, who is the neighbor? And the man said, the Good Samaritan. So the neighbor is someone in need. And that person might not be a human being. And that's why Jesus said, whatever you do to any of this, you do it to me. Now Christians now try to put who was talking this morning, we're putting the brackets. Whatever you do to any of the Christians, you do it to me. Not whatever you do to any of these. Swami says, love all, serve all. And Jesus depicted this epitome of love on the cross because the cross symbolizes the symbolism, the highest symbolism of Christianity. And most of us don't really understand what the cross means. It was only when I came to Swami that the meaning, the full meaning of what the cross really means dawned on me. And the cross simply means cutting the ego across. It means removing the I feeling. It means wherever there is this sense of me and mine, it is not pure love. It is not Jesus' love. It is not Christianity. So let me just stop here for the meantime. I know there are many questions to come, but it is such an awesome, inspiring activity to be with all of you here today to discuss on the unity of religions. Actually, religion has divided humanity, and it is also religion that will unite humanity. And Swami is sowing the seed today. Swami's emblem is the unity of religion, and we carry this emblem in our heart. We are beyond religion. We are Hindu. We are Christian. We are Muslim, because the essence of all this religion is only but one. And what is that essence? That you are divine, that you are God, that you are good. Sairam.
Some very interesting points emerging in this discussion. A lot of commonalities. Professor Bhatiaji mentioned that God, as a creator, whatever he creates, he becomes a part of the creation itself. So you cannot really separate the creator from the creation. And here we have another example where Jesus says, if you harm somebody else, you're actually harming me. So this inclusiveness is really coming forth through this panel discussion. May I now request Rabbi Ezekiel Isaac Malekar to address us on his views. He's the Honorary Secretary of Judah Hayam Synagogue in New Delhi.
Sai Ram, Shalom. At the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizers to invite me as a representative of Jews of India, because we are the microscopic minority community in India. We are just 5,000 Jews all over the India. But I am here not to represent Judaism, because I always consider myself that I am an Indian first and Jew second, because here we are here to harmony in religion. And I, as Satya Sai Babaji used to say, Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. The mother who has given you birth and the country where you are born are greater than the heaven. So always I say, when the Prime Minister of Israel visited our temple, media asked me, what is your impression about Israel and India? I said, Israel is in my heart, but India is in my blood. So it is very important. I am here in front of you, not as a Jew. By saying I am a Jew, I am a Christian, I am a Hindu, I am a Sikh, we are dividing ourselves. Why not say with one voice that we are all Indians first, because religion comes thereafter. My, gratitude, I express my gratitude to all the volunteers. They have been taking care of us for the last 2 days. And I experienced here, Atithya Deva Bhava. They realize God in welcoming us. So our grateful thanks to them. And to all my students there, do you hear me? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Because you are studying the Bhagavad Gita. What did Lord Krishna said in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita? Any one of you? What Lord Krishna said in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita? Why I am saying so? Because he did not utter a single word in the chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. He was silently listening to Parth, Arjuna and Sanjay. And all you students, I have been watching since morning. You have been very carefully listening to all our speakers silently. So I remembered Lord Krishna, how he was listening silently to Lord this Arjuna and Sanjay. So thanks to all my students for your silent hearing. about Jews of India. Jews have been living in India for the last 2,300 years, very peacefully, because we consider India is our motherland. And India is the only country in the world that we never face anti-Semitism and persecution. It's very, very important, because nowadays there is a very hot discussion that India is a tolerant country or not. But I am saying you, India is the most tolerant country in the world, where there are more than 9 religious representatives are staying in India without coming into conflict with each other. So India is a country, it is a multi-religious country. What Mahatma Gandhi said, India is a republic of religions, and we are very fortunate having taken birth in India. Now what the Judaism says, when God created Adam, He created Adam in His own image and likeness. And what is God in Judaism? God is merciful, God is compassionate, God is love in abundance, God is slow to anger. And all human beings have all these virtues. That is what Satya Sai Baba used to say. What is our shariram? Stula shariram. It is only physical body you can see. But what is the sukshma shariram? That is, you can, means you can see outside the world. What is sukshma shariram? Then come the ati sukshma shariram. Then come the parak suksham shariram. One is ati, then is param suksham shariram. So same thing. When you are having a physical body, you are in the body, only physical body. You consider your age of the body. But when you have the sukshma shariram, you can see outside the world. While sitting on the chair, you can see what is happening in America. You can take a trip to Washington. That is sukshma shariram. And what is the ati sukshma shariram? You can do the meditation. You can reveal the dreams. And param sukshma shariram is you are in every atom, everything. So this is the teaching of Satya Sai Baba. Why I am mentioning again and again? Because I met him, I was fortunate having met him twice. And I was fortunate to attend the last rites of Satya Sai Baba. I was present there for 2 days. I was in his company. But I think that his spirit is still there. His body is not there. Just forget about the physical body. His spirit is here and listening to all of us. Now about the Judaism, Rabbi Hillel was asked to explain Torah. Torah is the holy scripture of Judaism. In one sentence, what is Torah? And Rabbi Hillel said, what is hateful and hurtful to you, do not do to others. This is the whole of the Torah. What is hateful and hurtful to you? If somebody attacks you with the weapon, that wound could be healed up. But if you utter the bad words, your mouth is like a Brahmanda. And the words inside the mouth are the Brahmastra. So what Satya Sai Baba said, when you sleep while walking, you get injured. That wound could be healed up. But if you sleep your tongue, because when the words are inside your mouth, you are the master, they are the servants. But once the words are expressed, uttered, they are the master, you are the servant. So if you cannot appreciate, for God's sake, do not gossip. Don't say evil about others. Always try to appreciate. Second, as my brother said, it is in the book of Deuteronomy, the Lord is our God, God is one. And thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart. And brother, you forgot to mention, with all thy soul and might. Soul is very important. So that is the version from the Deuteronomy. And from Leviticus, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. This is very good things in all the holy scriptures. Thou shalt love thy neighbor, आपके पड़ोसी से प्रेम को. But in reality, beside the religious leader, I happen to be a lawyer also. Do we really love our neighbor? Don't love our sisters and brothers. Forget about the neighbor. Do we love? We don't love our brothers and sisters. Do you respect your parents? No. In Supreme and High Court, 70% cases are pending between brothers and sisters, between parents and children for what of property. So it's a good thing. I also enjoy, I give the lip service, but in reality, it is not happening. It is only on the Holy Scriptures. So try to at least love your brothers and sisters. Take care of your parents in their old age. This is the message of Judaism. Then, what is religion? In religion, according to Judaism, religion is like a rainbow. Rainbow has 7 colors. But when it is merged, we get one color, that is white color. Cows are of different colors. But what kind of a milk we get? It is of a white color. You must be tolerant, like a tree. You pelt a stone at a tree, what you get in return? You get fruits in return. You look at the cloud, when it is filled with water, it bow down. So humility, humbleness. One Shair has said, Sufi saint, my brother is here, Diwan Sahab, that Shair has said, Ba adab, ba nasib. If you are humble, you know the doors of your opportunity, luck is wide open. Ba adab, ba nasib. Be adab, bad nasib. So this is the message of Judaism. Then one of the rabbis said, you must repent once before your death. Before you die, you must repent once. So one disciple asked, when I will know that I'm going to die? The answer given in the Torah, you will repent every day. Every day you must repent. Then forgiveness, control the anger, because who is mighty? Who controls his anger? And Judaism gives more importance to the holistic education, not the academic education. And I'm very happy to see that in this organization, they impart holistic education. What is holistic education? Not only the development of the physical, mental, but as well as intellectual and spiritual development of the mind. About the truth. Truth is, of course, in Judaism, God is known as truth. In Hebrew it is said emet. I'll tell you the story. What is the truth? In the school, a little girl, kindergarten school girl, maths teacher came and she asked, darling, you have 2 apples and I give you 2 apples. How many apples you have? That little girl answered, ma'am, I have 5 apples. She said that probably that little girl could not understand the question. She again repeated the question. Beta, you have 2 apples and I gave you 2 apples. How many apples you have? She said, ma'am, I have 5 apples. She says, let me ask you her another question. She says, you have 2 bananas and I gave 2 bananas. How many bananas you have? The little girl said, 4 bananas. When I say apple, you say 5 apples. When I say banana, you say 4 bananas. That girl, very mischievous, started scolding her. The little girl started crying. She said, ma'am, why are you scolding me? My mummy has already given me 1 more apple in my tiffin. So I have that mummy's given apple and you have my 2 apple and you have given me 2 apple. So all that comes to 5 apples. So we must understand the psychology of the child. Then second is, love all, serve all. Self-sacrificial love. When you are serving, I remember a story, of course, though I am a Jew, I more read about the other scriptures of the other religions. My Sanskrit was my second language. So I remember the story of Lord Indra. Lord Indra invited all god, goddesses and Danavas for dinner. And everybody gathered in this big hall. Before starting dinner, Lord Indra said, you can take dinner only on one condition. You will not bend your hand at the elbow. Without bending hand at the elbow, you will eat. So Danavas felt very interested, means they got insulted. They says, they are making a mockery of us. Let us leave the hall. And they went away without taking dinner. But other gods and goddesses, they enjoyed the food, they enjoyed the dinner. How did they enjoy the dinner? they fed each other with their hand. So that is service. That is Lord Baba's our mission. All the religions. If differences, try to respect, don't ignore it. Visit all the holy places of the other religions. Read the holy scriptures of other religions. We are not bound. Now there is a tendency. If I am a Hindu, I will read only Hindu, Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad. If I am a Christian, I will read only the Bible. Why not we all read all the holy scriptures? Like it is said, Ekam Sat Viprabodha Vadanti, and it is given in the Sad Bhagavatam, that like a honeybee taking extract of the honey from each and every flower, why not we read the holy scriptures of all the religions? And at the end, I would conclude what Rabindranath Tagore said in his poem, do not go to temple to put the flowers at the feet of God. First feed your own house with the fragrance of love. Do not go to temple to put the light, the candle in front of God. First remove the darkness of sin from your heart. Do not go to temple to ask for forgiveness. First forgive those who have sinned against you. Do not go to temple to bow down before God. First bow down before your fellow men. Do not go to temple to bend upon your knees in prayers. First bend upon your knees to help the most vulnerable and downtrodden society members. Do not go to temple to ask for forgiveness. First forgive those who have sinned against you. Namaskar.
थैंक यू रबाई जी, आपने देशभक्ति की बात बताकर सभी को उत्साहित कर दिया. एंड इट्स सो नाइस फॉर अस टू लिसन टू यू quote not just from your own scriptures but from different scriptures as well. It's truly inspiring. Yes, perfect harmony. May I now request His Holiness Sajjadan Sheen Sayyid Zainul Abidin Ali Khan ji, head of Ajmer Sharif Dargah, to share his views. He is the direct descendant of Hazrat Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti.
नहमदुहु नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम. अस्सलामु अलैकुम. Respected eminent personalities and religious leaders on the dais, intellectuals sitting before me, other gathering, and most importantly, my young sons, and whom this summit has been set. May Allah bless all of you. As you know, I am from the Dargah Hazrat Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti of Ajmer, a seat of love and peace, irrespective of caste, creed, and faith. Therefore, when I speak, my words come out of hearts, and I hope they will enter in your heart, but unfortunately, if they come from the tongue, they will no pass from theirs. Thanks God, the outflux of my words is from of heart according to Sufism, beyond the narrow barriers of race and creed. When we can all unite because we all belong to one God. He is the first, the last, the all outwards and the all inwards. He has full knowledge of everything. This is Islam and Quran. Now we are duty bound to pass a resolution for youth, especially ladies, girls, that all religions, orders, guidelines are compiled by the intellectuals and spiritual leaders and make a booklet and publish to the youth for their future life and guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diwan Sahib, for your kind address. May I now request Swami Nikhileshwaranandaji to please expound on his view of harmony of religions. I know in the morning you did a fabulous job of speaking on this subject, but it would be great if you could also narrate a few more stories in addition to what you said in the morning and speak to us.
Dear friends, at the outset, Divanji Sahib gave a very good suggestion, and I would like to inform you that we have brought out a brochure giving the messages of all the religions, major religions of the world. This contains, apart from that, we have brought out a series of booklets, Thus Spake Christ, Thus Spake Muhammad, Thus Spake Guru Nanak. All these Thus Spake series is also there. So it's a very good suggestion that he had given. Once we have these booklets like this and they are circulated, and we have got in various languages, not only English, many languages. And when these books are circulated, and when we come to know, for example, now we can come to know, we are all speaking in the same language of harmony and peace. Where is the difference? So these youngsters must understand, whenever you get a feeling that there is some difference between all the religions, it may be a political move, it may be something else, but actually speaking, if you go to the fundamentals of all the religions, it is only one message of harmony and peace. So if all the religious leaders and if all the people who profess their religions, if they follow the fundamentals of religions of love, peace and harmony and compassion, fundamentalism will go automatically. And when there is no fundamentalism, there is no disharmony and there is no problem. So this is the solution. We should try to understand each other. So I would like to present this booklet to Divanji Sahib. Now, I was told to give you some stories, but I will give you only one story. And that story gives the gist of whole of Hinduism. Because whole of Hinduism is standing on Vedanta philosophy. And Vedanta philosophy, there are two basic principles. The divinity of the soul and solidarity of the whole universe. And this message of divinity of the soul has been very nicely given by Swami Vivekananda in America in the World Pile of Religions. Though particularly our youngsters, whenever I go to schools and colleges, they like this story because that gives them the idea of self-confidence. So there was a lioness. It was going through a forest, and there was a small road by which a flock of sheep was going. Now, in order to cross this small road, the lioness jumped. When it jumped, then it gave birth. It was pregnant, so it gave birth to a small lion cub. Now, that cub fell into the flock of sheep, and the lioness went to the other side and she died on the spot because she had given birth to the cub. Now this small lion started weeping because it lost its mother. So the mother of the sheep was very kind, compassionate. She came forward and started rearing the small lion cub. This small lion cub started going along with the flock of sheep, started eating grass, started playing with them, and started bleating like the sheep. Bah, bah, bah. After a long time, another lion came to the forest and it saw a big flock of sheep is going, and all the sheep, they are all bleating, bah, bah, bah. And at the end of the whole flock, there is a small lion. And that small lion is also bleating, and it is bleating, bah, bah, bah. Now, this big lion became very much surprised. It had never heard any lion bleating like bah, bah, bah. So it came near. As soon as it came near, the sheep became so much frightened. All the sheep started running away out of fear, bah, bah, bah. The small lion also started running away. And that big lion caught hold of it. Hey, where are you going? Why are you afraid of me? You are like a lion like me. They are sheep. They are afraid of me. I can understand. But you are a sheep like me. Why are you afraid? Why are you bleating? The small lion again started bleating, bah, bah, bah. I am not lion, I am sheep. The big lion said, you fool, you are a lion, you are telling yourself sheep. You are not sheep, you are lion. The small lion started weeping and bleating, bah, bah, bah. I am not lion, I am not lion, I am sheep, I am sheep. Now the big lion became very much annoyed, caught hold of the small lion, brought it near a pond of water. Look at the reflection. Your reflection and my reflection. You are looking like me, like a lion, or like the sheep? The small lion said, oh my God, I am looking like a sheep. I am not looking like a sheep, I am looking like a lion. So now you understand, you are a lion, you are not sheep. Now roar like me. It started roaring. Now come with me, you are the king of the forest. It became the king of the forest. So Swamiji, Vivekananda ji told this story to the Americans, and then he said, you know why this small lion was bleating? Because it had forgotten that it was a lion. Now this is the story of all of us. Inside each and every human being, in the morning I told you about the Sufi song, तुझसे हमने दिल को लगाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है, एक तुझको अपना पाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है, सबके मकान दिल का मकीन तू, कौन सा दिल है जिसमें नहीं तू, हर एक दिल में तू ही समाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. Inside every human being, there is a center of consciousness having infinite power. In spite of having infinite power, we are bleating, oh, I am weak, I can't do this, I can't do that, I get terrible tension, I have got so much, I'm getting so much nervous, my exams are coming, how can I play in the tournament, I'm energyless, no, I can't do that, bleating, bam, bam, bam. Why we are doing it? Because we have forgotten our true nature. Inside each and every human being is that center of divinity. Remember that. So Swami Vivekananda, in this pile of religions, gave the shloka from the Shveta Upanishad. Shulvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat Tameva Viditvati Mritameti Nanya Pantha Vidite Naya. I have found the Ancient One who is beyond all miseries. By knowing Him alone, you shall be free from all miseries. And then Swami Vivekananda told all the Americans, and my dear sisters and brothers of America, let me also call you by the same name which the rishis had told all the people. What is that? Amritasya Putra. You are the children of immortal bliss. If you ask any young student, what is a man? Immediately he will reply, man is a social animal, because that is how they have been taught. Man is a social animal. But Alvin Toffler says, no, man is an economic animal. But Benjamin Franklin says, no, man is a tool-making animal. But Aristotle says, no, man is a political animal. But after all, he is an animal. But Swami Vivekananda says, our Holy scriptures say. What is that? Man is not an animal. What is man or a woman? What is a human being? Amritasya putra. We are all the children of immortal bliss. And then Swami Vivekananda said, sisters and brothers of America, I would like, let me call you by this sweet name. Ye the children of immortal bliss, holy and perfect beings, ye divinities on us sinners, it is a sin to call a man so. It is a stunning libel on human nature. Come up, O lions, and shake up the delusion that you are sheep, your souls immortal, spirits free, blessed and eternal. You are not matter, you are not bodies. Matter is a servant, not servant of matter. This is the central message of Vedanta. And Swami Vivekananda, the gist of this Vedanta message in his book on Raj Yoga, each soul is potentially divine. The goal of human life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work, worship, psychic control, or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Dogmas, rituals, worships, temples, churches, mosques are but secondary details. So this is the central message of Vedanta, that inside every human being is the center of consciousness having infinite power. Now, can there be two infinite? There can be only one infinite. And that, because that is one infinite, that infinite consciousness is in you, in me, in each and every human being. So what follows? Let me try to see the divine in others. And this gives the rationality. Why should I serve you? Why should I not cheat you if I know how to cheat you and get rid of all the, get hold of a very good advocate and get rid of all the consequences? Why should I not cheat you? This is the message. By cheating you, you cheat yourself, because I and you are not different. This is Vedanta. That is, inside every human being is the center, same consciousness. So Swami Vivekananda gave a practical, now we were talking about practical religion. Now this is the practical Vedanta. Swami Vivekananda said, we do not want Vedanta now. What we want is practical Vedanta. So far you had heard the slokas, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. I am giving you additional mantras which are more necessary for the modern age. What is that? Daridra Devo Bhava, Rogi Devo Bhava. Worship the God in poor people, worship the God in patients. This is what is happening here in this beautiful ashrama. Here, there are schools, colleges, hospitals. So this is the real practical Vedanta. And that is the message of Hinduism. Now, if I try to see the divine, just imagine how it works. If the husband tries to see the divinity in his wife, and if the wife tries to see the divinity in husband, will there be divorce? If the parents try to look upon their children as divine, and if the children look upon their parents as divine, will there be generation gap? Will there be old age homes? So, this is the message of Vedanta. First of all, have confidence. Remember, you have got infinite power within you, and also remember the same universal consciousness is inside every human being. To try to love, so you see the love all. Why you love all? Because I and you are not different. That is Advaita. You and me are not different. If I take some money out of your pocket, it is going from my pocket only. So do not cheat others. Do not try to frighten up others. Do not try to injure others. Why? By injuring you, I get the misery. This is simple law of karma. As you sow, so you reap. So why this law of karma? Because I and you are not different. So that is the message of Vedanta, and I have tried to give, but remember the story. The students, remember the story. Whenever you're in the examination hall and your hands are trembling, remember you are lion, you are not sheep. And you will find, no, I have got infinite power within me, I need not be afraid. That is practical Vedanta. And when you feel like you become angry and try to injure others, remember, in that person also is the same God, same universal consciousness. This practical Vedanta will save us and will give us harmony and peace in the whole society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Since you and Professor Bhartia predominantly emphasized on practical spirituality and putting all of what we learned into practice. Can I ask you both to just expound a little on how all of us seated here can individually promote and cultivate the idea of religious tolerance?
Nothing like tolerance. Sikhism firmly believe, and we all of us, we should believe that tolerance is a bad word. It is the understanding. Today, if we see from the religious angle, if I am not interreligious, I cannot say myself that I am religious. That is from the practical point of view, the word which is existing. And it is the spirituality which is core in this one. The outward things can go and come and shatter. So the question now comes is that how do we really put this into practice? Practice is the inner part, as he said, that we have to realize that and we have to do. How do we do it? I understand, so I may do it. He understands, he may do it. But will others do it? Others will do it only when they are made to understand that this is the thing. So it is not enough for us that we are good at our religion or good at understanding other religions. There is a moral education which is required. That's the base. Just 2 days back, I was asking one of the sister Christian church was there. I said, ask this one, how do you serve the tea? You put tea leaves, without that you can't make tea. Do you give along with the tea because that was the thing which is ingrained in that? You filter it. God has given us viveka. And nobody will deny that I don't want to use the viveka. That is the supreme power which God has given. Everything has to be seen from that angle, logically. Today students want everything to be logical and scientifically to be proved. And here, this is with the vision, it need to be tested on the truth. Right? And that is the type of message it has to go to all of us on a common platform, where there is no dispute. So there is a need for us to work for that. Who know, we have to impart that knowledge. Our responsibility do not end at this point that we do good things. We have to also see that others do the good things. Basically, there are no others. Hum nahi change, bura nahi koi. That's the concept. Kabir asked this question, when I went out to search in the first of bad person, I didn't get anybody. But Guru Nanak says, I have also found out that I am not good and others are not bad. We have to go to that level, understand that, exploit that, empower them. Goodness, I am good when the goodness prevail around me, if I cannot bring. So there is a need for us to put into practice. It is our moral duty to do that. If we are not doing it, it is not, even that knowledge is not going to do any benefit to us.
Yeah. Those of you who want to interject and put forth your viewpoints may feel free
just
to do that.
two words. You know, this tolerance is a very dangerous word.
I know he was just saying
You
understanding
know,
is a better
tolerance, if you see this Urdu version, tolerance, I am tolerant, means मैं बर्दाश्त कर रहा हूँ. बर्दाश्त करना is not something, I am not inclined, but I have to bear him. So that word tolerance has to be substituted by the word acceptance. I accept him. So that is the most appropriate word. Instead of tolerance, acceptance. And for that acceptance, you have to control your anger. Because if you are not able to control your anger, you cannot be tolerant toward others. Thank you.
I stand corrected. So acceptance and understanding are better words to use than...
Yeah. Now, I will give the pragmatic part of it. How we are doing it in our Ramakrishna mission is that, in our, as I told you, in our ashramas, we celebrate Christmas Eve, Guru Nanak Jayanti, Mahavir Jayanti, Buddha Jayanti, when there are discourses, when there are carols and all that. So the devotees, they come to know about the similarities between all the religions. So that wrong conception that all religions are got different, this one, that goes away, number one. Number two, we bring out this literature and give them literature on Daspek Christ, Daspek Muhammad, Daspek Ram, Daspek Krishna. So this literature, one is literature, second is celebration, third, in our schools and colleges, we have teachings of all the great people, and we have also exhibitions on all the great saints and great prophets, and we have symbols of world religions in almost all our centers, in all our schools and colleges. So then, by very much entering there, they understand that all the religious symbols are telling the same thing, and then the message they come to know. So these are all practical ways, pragmatic approach. Number one, celebrations. Number two, literature, publications. And number three is education, giving them education on interfaith harmony. Comparative religion should be one subject as a part of values, but along with that we may also give this value of respecting all religions. This is one way.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Geshe Lagdor, I have something to ask you. In your brief address, you spoke about how living in harmony also comes from within. So what does it mean to be living in harmony? So if we are to be living in harmony with the society and with people around, does it have to be beginning with ourselves? You know, does harmony in microcosm lead to harmony in macrocosm?
Harmony can be cultivated with the understanding that others are exactly like you, wanting happiness, not wanting suffering. In case of yourself, you take as much care as possible, and with others, you take less care. If somebody asks you this question, that for many years I saw you taking a lot of care about yourself, why do you take so much care about yourself? If somebody out of the blue asks you this strange question, you cannot justify this taking care of yourself by saying that I take so much care about myself because I'm a professor or I'm a special person. Even if you say that, that is not the right answer. The right answer is that I take care of myself because I want happiness, do not want suffering. Similarly, in the case of other people also, we should take care of them because they want happiness, do not want suffering. Not only that, the more you take care of others, the more you will be taken care of. We've already touched on the topic of, using the word tolerance, acceptance, whatever word you use. We are unable to tolerate others, we are unable to bear others, we are unable to accept others, clearly showing that we don't have much love about others. If you have genuine love to others, tolerance will be there, acceptance will be there. Sometimes it wonders me that how family members, they survive together for so many years. In some cases, the marriage lasts, the whole life. So this perplexes my mind, thinking, how are they? They are not two godly beings living together. Not necessarily all family members are perfect, but despite their differences, they are able to live together, take care of each other, because they love each other. So in the society, so many problems, we don't care about others, we neglect others, clearly showing that we don't love others. We don't love others because we don't see the sameness. We don't see the fragility. For example, if I see a very old lady dying near me, I would not bully her, I would not kick her. Instead, I would try to help her, because here I can clearly see that this is old and this lady is suffering and sick. So I show my company. Similarly, with your wisdom, if you see others in a similar, more or less similar situation, as I already said, today you are here, tomorrow you may be dead. So when you see that fragility, this vulnerability, naturally you will develop some kind of concern, some kind of sympathy. So that will definitely bring harmony. So you need that sense of care and love. So that is the root cause for harmony.
Just before we finish, Gulsha, did you have a question? Yeah. Can you keep it brief because we're running out of time as well? Sure. Question.
Good afternoon, everybody here. I think I just have one question because I think, I'm sorry, I'm not able to get. I think from the Dalai Lama, sorry. My question is that you said one thing, that religion, the Buddhism doesn't believe in the concept of God. And but normally in every religion there is a creator. But you said Buddhism is a religion which doesn't believe in the concept of God. So I wanted to know, why did you say that? That why there is no creator? And another thing is because I think the gentleman, the moderator also said, you cannot separate creator from the creation. So these are very conflicting things. So I just wanted to ask you that why there is no creator in Buddhism?
First of all, we need to understand that when we talk about religious harmony, we need to understand the fact that philosophically we are different. There are so many differences. We have to accept that. We cannot just, for the sake of, politeness, we say all are same, sab khichdi, aise nahi. Philosophically, so many differences. But the message of all the religions are love, kindness, compassion. So there we are same. Philosophically, different thinkers came out, different viewpoints, and the reason for that philosophy and view is to solve human problem. So in the case of the Buddha, what he saw was that it is the nature which plays a significant dominant role in our experiencing happiness and peace. And he was able to clearly see that it is because of ignorance, meaning not knowing the reality. That means interconnected reality. Sometimes we call it shunyata. Because of not knowing that, we create so many problems. I don't have time to elaborate on this. So therefore, if you want to reduce suffering, yes, you can do prayer, but not only prayer, more important is action, helping each other. So that is the thing. And then also, with due respect, the idea is like, if there is a creator, then who created the creator? All those problems are there. I don't want to touch on that point.
Hello. See, where we are discussing, talking and deliberating on the harmonious relations, why do we confine to only human beings? We forgot the animals, then birds, the nature. In fact, we have become the destroyers of the nature for the sake of development. So think of the nature. Okay.
Thank you very much. We are running out of time. I think we just have time for a couple of questions from the audience. So if anybody has a question, can you please introduce yourselves and direct the question to any one of our speakers? Can we have some volunteers also go around with some mics? Yes. You can even convey your question to the volunteer and he can sound it on behalf of you.
Sairam, this can be to anyone. My name is Srinivas. For the incidents like the one in Dadri which we saw, which was very unfortunate, when others are taking advantage, can we do something as a forum to stop such things? Because there are politicians who jump in and vitiate the situation. We as one, all of us who have gathered here, can we also step in and do the opposite of what they do and spoil the situation there?
See, this is one question which have been always coming. that by sermons to those people who are doing wrong in the society. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, he sent a messenger for the peaceful Islam. And when that failed, he asked Arjuna to have his bow. The dharma has to guide the temporal power. If the inside devil is to be conquered with the spirituality, there's something which is going wrong in the society is to be conquered with the temporal power. And that is what Sikhism got, that what we call as Kirpan. Kirpan is a symbolizing the temporal power and made of these two words, Kirpa and An. Whenever there is a need to do the mercy, when there is a need to do the so-called honor is at a stake, then it has to be raised. Last sloka Bhagavad Gita, if you see, it is the same thing which Lord Krishna has given a message. When all the redressing wrong fail, raising the sword is pious and just, is the message from the Sikhism. So it's not only the Sikhism, every human being who consider himself to be on the path of religious path, there is a need for us to come together and combat that, because it cannot happen. So answering to that question is, can we do something? Yes, but only thing is that we have to go as a sigma. As a sigma, all the religious persons have to meet, decide that we will combat this, and there will be a solution and it will yield the fruits. Individuals, it may not. There is a need for us to. When we are going to the core, it is there. We are empowered. Bhagavad Gita says, whenever there is a hani of dharma, the God comes. But we all agree that God is nowhere, God is within us. We are His image. Why we have to sit in one corner and only watch that, let God and come and then do? That's not a mercy. The practical mercy is that you have to come forward, raise your voice. If that is not sufficient, fight against that and win over it with a conviction. And Sikh Kara stands for that resolve the thing with conviction. Individually, we may not be that strong, but the sigma is very important. All together, all the people who have the moral values for interreligious harmony, and this one is there. And I also action one more word because I thought we can share that. Harmony is a God's gifted one. You go to forest, so many animals are there. Lion seems to be the most powerful. It does not sit in his den and say that let somebody kill animal and bring to me because I am the king and the more is on. He comes out for his own food and earning. They don't fight. See this one. Ocean, see the nub. It is only the human being where we have to talk about harmony because we ourselves are the threat to that. Harmony is natural given. All religious people, I call upon this one, we should put effort to something which is a challenge to the harmony. We should work for that rather we only talk about harmony of the religions. It is not the religions who are fighting. It is we who in the name of religion we are fighting. And if the religion is not there, we will create something else to fight among ourselves. So that has to be combated. So this moral so-called education, the basis, has to come at the school levels and this and that. I think if not going to the street and fighting against the evil, at least for tomorrow, we can work together and bring our coming generation with that idea that this is not tolerable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this wonderful dialogue that we had on interreligious harmony. What really came out from this discussion was that religion cannot be discussed without values. Values are the core, and religions are based on that. And this set of values are common across all religions. Since we are short of time, we will not go forward with any further questions for now, but this meet is 3 days and I'm sure we will have more opportunities to ask questions. In closing, we would like to express our gratitude for the panelists. 2 of the panelists did addresses this morning and we could express our gratitude to them, but for those whom we couldn't, may I request Shri Manjunath to present our token of gratitude to Rabbi Ezekiel Isaac Malekar. Thank you all so much. We will have a quick, short break for about 15 minutes, after which we will be resuming the evening session. So all of you are kindly requested to keep up the time and be back here in 15 minutes when we resume the program.